That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The education benefits I got from serving helped me get my degree and jumpstart my career. The training and leadership skills I've gained from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people, help my neighbors, and look out for my community. I know that when my neighbors need us the most, my fellow soldiers and I will be ready. My family loves it here, and my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
It all comes back to money.
Visit our store right now at zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net to take advantage of all the best deals in the Tennessee Valley. Or just go to our website, 977espn.com, and click on the Zone Deals logo to start saving right now.
Now, as to the price.
These deals won't last long, so get yours now. Zone Deals. You'll thank us later.
A man who could easily afford to buy a vowel.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We're back at it. We're live and we're brand new, of course, because it's a Friday morning. We're off and running. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in on a Friday that'll see us recap round one of the NFL draft. We'll throw in some high school soccer scores along the way. Playoffs got underway last night across the state. Baseball on the high school level. Playoffs resuming. Well, they resumed last night. And they'll get underway in earnest, and I mean full force today. So we got that to look forward to. And we had a lot of other little stuff, nips and stuff going on last night as well. So make sure you join us, 256-576-4977. Hey, make sure as you head into work, into school, wherever you may be headed, your high today, your temperature, 66 degrees right now, 75 degrees in the Tennessee Valley. We could see some rain today. We could see some rain tomorrow at some point. But then the temperatures are going to go up next week. They're going to be up in the 80s. That means you need to give our good friends Talent Heating and Air a call, 256-503-4490. Let their talent do some work for you. Make sure you give our good friends Thomas, Terry, Jeremy. Make sure you give them all a call. They're ready for you. If you need to get that air conditioned serviced, if you need to get it. I'm sorry. You got me laughing right out of the gates because you must have not had any little Cokes at home. You had to bring the 2-liter in this morning.
Yeah, I didn't know if I might not have needed the 2-liter for the ceiling, but we this didn't come from the roof, but we're in much better shape this morning. But yeah, I'm out of the smaller stuff right now, so thirsty this morning. So on the way out, grab me some Diet Dr. Pepper. Love it here, everybody. But
had the 2-liter sitting in the refrige, and so you just said, heck, I'm just going to take it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
it was a heck of a first round. I thought it was a rather, at least the first half of the first round, first 16 picks or so were rapid fire pretty much. There wasn't a whole lot of trades. We saw the fireworks in the second pick, and we got it wrong. We thought Jacksonville might trade down, but they traded up
to get the second pick. Yeah,
to draft the best player in my opinion, in the entire draft.
Well, here is how it all got started. Last night they're in Green Bay where they estimated. Now it's so hard. It's so hard to do this, but they estimated over 250,000 people. Green Bay is a town of 100,000 people.
Right.
They estimated last night over 250,000 people there for the draft.
It looked like it. I mean, and trust me, I've been to one in Nashville.
Yeah.
When they
Nashville has the all-time record.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, we were actually, the media was in like a trailer, so we were back there near the televisions and everything. We did walk around and walk out and go downtown and get amongst the people, and it was insanity. I mean, it was people everywhere. But yeah, I mean, and the cool thing is, because they want to make a weekend out of it, a pilgrimage.
Yes,
you have fans from every organization that come to be a part of it. Now, the thing about Green Bay being so small is, good Lord, I mean, the hotels must get overrun, but they're going to make a ton of money.
Yeah. Here's how it all started as expected.
Yeah.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
So there you go. Cameron Ward.
Shocked.
Taken first by the Tennessee Titans.
No, but we'll see if it works out for them. And then Shedeur Sanders did not get drafted. And that didn't shock me. The more surprise
it shocked him.
But, of course it did. But
there it is. There he is.
And I had somebody ask, if his name was Sam Sanders, would he have even, be a prospect? Yes, he'd be a prospect. Would he have gotten as much first round buzz? Probably not. Because again, I'll just say this is not a good quarterback draft. All right.
Right.
Because I'm not even sure how good Cam Ward is. And for whatever reason, I think those reports were true that the New York Giants did not like Shedeur Sanders. However they evaluated him, however the interviews went, they didn't like him because they trade back into the first round. And then they take Jackson Dart, who I'm definitely not sold on.
Look, there was only two quarterbacks taken last night.
Yeah,
Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. Two quarterbacks. That was it.
Jackson Dart, every big – that's what it was. I mean, come on, man.
It's a little tighter there, doesn't it?
I mean, Kentucky, Florida. He didn't play great against Georgia, even though they won impressively. I mean – he may be a good pro. He has measurables and things of that nature, size, mobility, but I'm just not sold on the guy. And Mel Kiper brought it up. Of course, a lot of people were giving Mel a hard time because they thought he was just pining too much for Shedeur, but he believes in the player.
Right.
And I saw Jason Whitlock, who I truly respect. He was talking about how Shedeur and Deion's money they spent on Mel Kiper was wasted. But look, I've seen Mel Kiper enough over the years. This dude's been doing it for 40 plus years. He's telling you the truth. And the one thing I love about Mel, he don't give a rat's what, whether you agree with him or not.
Right.
He's going to tell you how he evaluated the situation. And I do think Shedeur, in my opinion, is the best quarterback in the draft, but it's a very weak quarterback class. And
that's what we said. We've said that all week, that this quarterback class is not an overwhelming class.
No.
And since 2003, or 2023, my bad. Since 2023, there's only been one quarterback taken in the second round.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Will Levis.
And he's not very good. But
so we mentioned.
Don't forget, Jalen Hurts was taken in the second round. And I certainly was wrong about Jalen Hurts. I've admitted that. But I just think that Shedeur Sanders is going to be a good player. He needs to go to the right organization to develop and be a good player. And I think he needs to be a guy that maybe sits for a year. I think he would be a perfect pick for somebody like the Pittsburgh Steelers in round 2, but we'll see what happens.
Here was Shedeur Sanders last night. This is good. Now, keep in mind, Shedeur had about $150,000 necklace on last night.
Did, for crying out loud. What was this? Like, is this got to be like, everybody looked like it was, Run DMC and everything last night. I mean, or Flavor Flav. I should have.
Yes,
Flavor Flav. The one I should have hit. Like, if he could have cut all this, I mean, this was nuts. And I'm talking about even the Bama guys too. Milroe, Booker. It's like everybody. Mine's going to be bigger than yours, and don't take any disrespect out of what I'm just saying. I'm just, it was just like unbelievable.
It was. Here is Shedeur Sanders.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary.
There you go. That was Shedeur Sanders at his draft party that he had last night. But
and he did not come to the draft. I guess he wasn't invited, and so I guess they knew something could happen. But again, if I'm Shedeur, I just use it as fuel. Now it's about Louis Riddick and these guys were saying it last night. It's about where you go.
Right.
You can't. You don't. Of course, you want to go as early as possible in round 2, but you want to go to the right organization with the right opportunity. We'll see whether it's somebody that's trading up to get him or whether it's somebody that takes him early in round 2. We'll see. Certainly, there's a lot of talk about the Tennessee Titans, but now that they took the quarterback with number 1, in other words, what they were going to do with their 35th pick, but it certainly won't be Shedeur unless they trade it for capital. And that's wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. But again, I like Shedeur. I mean, I understand that his personality rubs some people the wrong way, but I think he's a tough kid. I think he processes well. He doesn't have elite measurables from a size and arm standpoint, but accuracy and anticipation, I think he has the best in this particular draft at the quarterback position. And I just think he's going to make somebody a really good player.
All right, here is then those are the big headlines, national headlines, as far as players getting drafted. As far as the Alabama contingent goes, Tyler Booker, the first one off the board for the Tide last night.
With the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard, Alabama.
And here's the thing, and some people didn't catch this, but I caught it last night, how ironic it was, because they're playing music the entire draft. And so they're playing songs up there. Right before this pick was this took place, I could hear it. They were playing Sweet Home Alabama. I don't know if they knew something.
Each player got to pick a walkout music once they were drafted last night. So it may be. Booker then goes, so you have Booker there, number 12. And then you fast forward a little bit, the 31st pick in the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jahad Campbell, linebacker. So that means Alabama now has had at least one player selected in the first round of 17 straight drafts, which is an NCAA record. The Crimson Tide surpassed the previous record already by Miami. That Miami had that at 14 when they did that from 95 to 08. Alabama's 2 selections last night produced multiple first-round picks in the 14th of the last 17. 14 of the last 17 NFL drafts and 9
in a row.
Straight.
That's the amazing
9 straight.
I wanted to double and triple check it before I posted it on my X account and posted it. But that is 9 consecutive. Now 17 in a row for a first-round pick, but 9 consecutive NFL drafts with 2 first-rounders or more. And, of course, it was getting late. I wasn't sure if Jahad was going to go in the first round, but everybody kind of had him pegged with the Eagles. And then it turned out, according to Ian Rappaport, that they tried to trade up to 21 to draft him. It didn't work out. And 22 didn't work out. And then he still ends up there at 31. And he's got shoulder issues. He's had 1 shoulder surgery. He's probably going to have another. But, they're the Super Bowl champs. They don't need him right away. And so I think it was a really good fit for him. And it fits their MO with Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
Winners get rings. And so he picks winners. He picks Georgia Bulldogs and University of Alabama players, and they whip everybody's ass. So everybody needs to I think some of these other organizations need to wake up and understand why you win.
Got two leaders kicking in.
You know what I'm saying? And now I can ask John this because his Cleveland Browns have the first pick in the 33rd of the second round. Do you take Shedeur here?
I don't know. They got 2 picks early in the second round.
33 and 36 because they made a trade, as you know.
Yeah.
Would be
you might
fitting.
still have him at 36.
I mean,
so since 2000,
do you take him with one of those though? One of them two?
You got to take one of those two. I feel like to make the people happy, even
I would take him in the second round because they need a freaking quarterback. I mean, Deshaun Watson, he tore his Achilles twice. He's not playing.
Right.
And to me, the only thing though, for Shedeur's sake, sorry, John, but I mean, this is a cursed organization. I don't know, but I will say this: he's used to getting hit a lot. So, I mean, and he's used to having to carry a team on his back. And I will say, I do think Cleveland has some pieces. So I think, the big thing that's gone wrong for them is Deshaun just has not lived up to the contract they gave him after that massive trade because they've invested in running backs.
Yeah, the legal issues, I think, caught up with him. I think the legal issues, getting time out.
They've got, the Jerry Judys of the world. They've tried to surround the quarterback with talent. So to me, and then if you're Shedeur, you want to play. And so I think Cleveland would probably be the best spot for him. And we've also heard that Cleveland likes him. So you now have 2, as John said, of the first 4 picks in the second round. Now there could be another trade here, and Cleveland could trade. But the Houston Texans, they're not going to take a quarterback.
Right.
Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers could, and I hate these pop-ups. Stop popping up, you. Anyway, but you got Cleveland, you got Houston, and then you got Tennessee. Tennessee is not taking another quarterback. The only other organization that I see here in the top 5 of the second round is the Las Vegas Raiders. They say Tom Brady likes him. He's a minority owner with this organization.
The Raiders would fit what do you call it?
Past the top 5 picks in the second round.
The panache, of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah,
it would
say
fit
that 3 times fast.
The panache of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah,
see
the panache of Shedeur Sanders, the panache of Shedeur Sanders, the panache of Shedeur Sanders. I almost cussed. I didn't.
I like 2-liter shows. But anyway,
quick yet though.
Anyway, since 2000, Alabama's produced 51 first-rounders. That is 9 better than the next closest school, Ohio State. And then since 2010, Alabama has had an NCAA leading 48 players selected in the first round, a number that nearly doubles the next closest school, Ohio State, with 29.
And I'll say this too.
So there you go. That's a little bit about the 2 first-rounders from Alabama.
And, I wondered about Book because I kept saying 20 to 32 because a lot of times guards are not valued. But I do think it was a good pick by Jerry and Stephen Jones. And I say that because for this very reason. They took Zach Martin 12, 13 years ago from Notre Dame, and he turned into a Hall of Fame player. He was a first-round pick. He had just retired. So you got that hole right there. And I know they had signed some free agents. But Booker, to me, is a plug guy for at least a decade. So I think I think the Cowboys made a good, solid pick. Now, was it a sexy pick? No, but I think it was one they needed.
All right, here's what we need. We got to get a break in. When we come back.
So I can take a swig.
Well, it's better than taking something else. We got to get – we'll hear from Tyler Booker. We will hear from Jahad Campbell. And we will check in.
We will not hear from Shedeur again until later today.
No, we will not hear from Shedeur.
Yeah.
We will not, I promise.
But we will probably hear from Duval. That was a good trade.
Traded up to get him. We got a break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We still don't have any accidents on the board this morning. We did have one early this morning, though, that's caused us some problems now. The traffic signal at Drake and Patton is out, and Gate 10 is closed. They're working to clear away what's left of that accident at a broken utility pole there they're having to repair. No word on when that stretch of roadway will be reopened this morning. Don't forget you got Panoply downtown Big Spring Park. Got streets closed around the park. Summer temps are here. Don't get caught without air. D&L Refrigeration can check your system before it's too late. Discounts for military, law enforcement, and seniors. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deal store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, "You need a new roof." Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Knute DeArmond. Welcome into the program on what is today? Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Scott. A Friday morning.
No yellow submarine today.
No. Let's go out to the phone lines real fast. I believe B. Rich is with us. Good morning, B. Rich.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Hey, just wanted to touch on the draft a little bit last night. First off, just fit. Like I used to watch the draft. Like I enjoy it, and I used to watch for all the big names and stuff like that. But now, as I get a little bit older, you know, of course I keep up with the Bama guys, but I look for just like fit, like what do I think fits? And not only do I think that the Alabama guys got the total benefit of perfect situations, Booker going to the Cowboys, Jihad going to the Eagles, I thought the Ravens, there's a reason that organization is so successful. Ozzie Newsome did such an amazing job for years and years up there, but their pick of Malachi Starks, I thought that was just another home run fit. I mean, you can see that guy being an all-pro for many, many years up there. Just 3 teams that absolutely, I thought, crushed it. Looking forward to seeing Book there at Dallas. But Drew, just to touch on the Falcons, I like what they did last night, and I went into that with 0 expectations. Long-suffering Falcons fan.
Yeah,
I would give it a B+. A B+. Jalen Walker, a little undersized at linebacker, but does have some. Obviously comes from a winning culture. And then the James Pierce pick, even though I felt like they did give up a lot, giving up a first round next year to trade back into the first and get that pick, they did give up a lot. I do feel like James Pierce is the best pure pass rusher in this draft. So I do have to give the Falcons some kudos. I thought they did some nice things yesterday, and we'll see if they can not botch the rest of the draft.
Well, and Pierce is a guy that, he's going to be boom or bust to me. I think he really can rush the passer, but can they coach him up and get his motor running? Jalen Walker's motor runs all the time. So I think I do think that was a good pick. They never expected him to be there. When they traded back into, round 1, I thought maybe they were going to try to go corner. But obviously the medicals with Will Johnson, I guess, are bothering some folks because he's a great player, great college player who's still going to be on the board in round 2. And I will say, you and I both know with the Falcons, their pass rush has been bad for a long time. So they definitely are looking to improve it. I thought defensively, actually, they were better last year. Still didn't rush the passer great, but they certainly addressed that. And I'm going to be interested to see how Penix does with his first full year as a starter. But I do think going forward in the rest of the draft, I think they need to address wide receiver. I think they need to, because, they this is not the Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley group that had a lot of big plays. I think they have a good running back room. Tight ends, I still think they're solid, but I think they need to get a little bit more dynamic outside. And then you never can have enough good offensive linemen. You got to continue to address that, the line of scrimmage. And of course, they don't have Grady Jarrett anymore. Maybe you find a quality defensive tackle.
Right. I completely agree. I was hoping that T-Book would end up in Atlanta.
I knew that. Yep.
But yeah, I thought they might address corner too, and I'm guessing that like you said, there's the medical on Will Johnson. There's got everybody scared off, but Luther Burden will be available, so you can get good wide receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round. So hopefully they do address that. Mm-hmm. I guess we'll see, but I appreciate it, fellas. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thanks. There were 6 conferences.
Right.
There were only 6 conferences that had players drafted last night. Mm-hmm. The SEC in round 1 led the way. Now, keep in mind, there were 32 first-round picks last night, okay?
Right.
The SEC had 15 of those 32 first-round picks. Uh-huh. The Big Ten had 11 first-round picks. So that means 26 of the 32 first-round picks went to the SEC and the Big Ten. The ACC had 2. Miami and North Carolina each had a player. Cam Ward, obviously, number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. And then the Big 12, 2 players taken out of the Big 12. The Missouri Valley and the Mountain West conferences, where the other 2 represented, each had 1. And that was it last night. That was it. That was all of the conferences that were represented in round 1.
Yeah, and again, the SEC dominated. 15 picks in the first round. And I will say this, though, because of the trades last night, the biggest trade was the fireworks right off the top, but then there was a couple of trades later in the draft.
Right.
But the Falcons don't have a 2nd round pick right now. So they won't, unless they trade back into round 2, they won't be able to address that need. But if I'm the Cleveland Browns, and I'm not a Browns fan, I mean, I tried to be when they drafted Trent Richardson. That turned into a fiasco. So that's the last time I tried to be a Browns fan and support them. But
well, at least you gave it the good old college try.
But I mean, to me, they've got, John's already mentioned it, they've got the 1st and the 4th pick in the 2nd round. To me, it should be Shedeur Sanders, and if he's still there, Luther Burden. I think they should go ahead and address wide receiver to give them somebody to go with Jerry Jeudy and see if they can be good and things of that nature. And I think that would be to me, that would be the way to go. I think they need to give the draft Shedeur and then give him a weapon. And they've already got some weapons on their team, but I just think I like Burden. I think he's faster than his 40 time. I think the 40 time bothered some people, but I think he was dynamic at Mizzou, and I think he'll have a chance to have a really good NFL career.
So Georgia had 3 players last night taken. Hold on, my headphone thing's scratching.
Here we go again. I'm just telling you,
I just moved. I don't know
stuff.
Don't know what. Like all of a sudden, it just went squawky on me there. Now it's really high. Woo! Okay, so Georgia had 3 players.
No flames there.
Georgia had 3 players taken last night in the first round of the draft.
Right.
That means now, remember Nick Saban had way more players taken in first round than he did losses at Alabama.
Yeah, correct.
Kirby Smart now has crossed that plateau. Kirby Smart now has 20 first round draft picks and only 19 losses at Georgia. So Kirby Smart now has crossed that bridge with more first rounders than losses at Georgia.
He has, and they've done a great job. Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, they dominate the draft. Michigan the last couple of years. Michigan's had really good players.
Michigan had 13 last year, 3 this year in the first round to the Wolverines,
including both their defensive tackles and then a really good tight end. None of them played against Alabama, and Mill Ticket still lost. So that's probably why he's
still available.
Yeah, still available.
So he's a meal ticket. So now he's probably just a lunchtime ticket.
No, well, I'm not taking him in round 2. I don't really give a rat's whatever. I'm not afraid to say that.
You haven't been afraid to say anything today.
Hell no. But I'm just not. I mean, the Raiders might take him. We've talked about it already because Cleveland and the Raiders, they have 2 of the. Cleveland's got 2 in the top 5 in the second round. The Raiders have 1, and they're quarterback needy. Okay, they need a quarterback, and then the Saints, because if for whatever reason Shedeur doesn't go in the top 5 of the second round, the Saints will be there, and the Saints are another team that could use a quarterback.
Right.
Maybe they would have some interest in Milroe. I don't know, but again, there are some quarterback needy teams that are picking in the top of the second round, even the Jets to a certain degree, because the Jets, they've got Fields. I don't know if he's the long-term answer. You could put Milroe behind him, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, man, I do like Shedeur. I think he should go toward in the first few picks of the second round. I think he's a future starter. I don't know if he'll start this year. Certainly if he goes to Cleveland, though, as John was telling us off the air, that's right. They made the trade because Kenny Pickett was the backup in Philly last year. They won the Super Bowl. He has starting experience, with the Eagles. I will say this, though. I would not think that Kenny Pickett would get through the entire season as Cleveland starter. Now, he might start the season and you let Shedeur sit there and get better if you draft him and watch. But also, hey, don't forget that Cleveland's offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach is Tommy Rees. He did coach Jalen Milroe in the best year of his college career. So maybe he's going to go to bat for Milroe. So you could see Milroe in Cleveland. And again, but I will say this. If I'm the Browns and I did draft Milroe, I'm going to try to get a whole year out of Pickett because Milroe needs time. And unless things are just going so poorly this year that you want to play him the last few weeks of the season to see how he's progressed. But I still think Jalen Milroe needs some some developmental reps. He just needs to not be rushed. because I think a lot of these rookie QBs are rushed. I think Shedeur is further along as a player, and that's why I think if he went to Cleveland, I wouldn't be surprised if either first game or first few weeks that he ends up as the starting quarterback.
All right, 7:32 on a Friday morning, 256-576-4977. You're more than welcome to join the conversation this morning as we recap what happened last night on round 1 of the NFL draft. We'll look ahead to rounds 2 and beyond. Plus, we'll set the stage for some high school baseball, high school soccer last night. Got all kinds of stuff going on, but we've got to get a break in before we can get to any of that first. When we come back, we'll pick the conversation up. It's Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Friday is going to be very similar to every other day this week. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky. Temperatures climbing somewhere into the mid-70s with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Holding on to the opportunity for rain as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning. Temperatures only drop into the low and mid-60s. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky on Saturday afternoon. Much the same. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Dropping into the mid-50s as we head into the overnight. Sunday, very much so, going to be rinse and repeat. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck on the Parkway about Clinton. It is coming in as an injury type. Looks like it's on the southbound side. Must be right at the Clinton off-ramp. We got Panoply downtown, Big Spring Park. They've got streets closed around the park. And Gate 10 is closed because of damage from an earlier accident south of Drake. The traffic signal at Drake and Patton is out. And they've got Patton Road closed completely while they make utility repairs. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The sound of the organ. The crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall. And the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There's nothing like it. It's America's pastime. From the first pitch to the final out, you can hear every game right here on your home for Alabama baseball.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia if you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back on a Friday morning Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. That's kind of the mood today. We're just letting it rip. There's no rehearsals here. We're just having fun.
That's what it says up there.
That's what it says. That's the motto we go by each and every morning, and that's certainly what we're doing right now. There were 32 guys, though, that did have fun last night that crossed over into another tax bracket, so to speak, with being picked in the NFL's first round. Tyler Booker among them, picked 12th last night in the draft. And as you might imagine, after he got backstage, visited with the media for a little bit. And here was Tyler Booker's response when asked about being coached by Nick Saban.
I learned consistency from Coach Saban. Like, Coach Saban had success broken down to a science, and year after year, day after day, season after season, he's finding little ways to tweak that routine in order to become even more successful. So learning that from him, like this year, I created a routine for myself, and that's when I saw a lot of growth within myself as a person and then myself as an athlete as well. Like, I had a lot of growth in my game this past year due to me having a routine and me sticking to it.
That was him being asked about Nick Saban. Jahad Campbell, picked 31, visited with the media. And Jahad was asked about playing in the Southeastern Conference.
Being competitive. I mean, it's the best conference in the nation in college football. So I don't care about none of that Big 12, Mountain West, whatever anybody else play in. You know what I'm saying? Every week, you're going to have to compete because you might not know who you're going against until you know what they got. I mean, we lost to Vanderbilt, so like.
There
won a bowl game.
There you go. Jahad Campbell and Tyler Booker.
No, I mean, and Jahad's right. I mean, the SEC is the best league. I don't care. The Big Ten's won the last two. The bottom of the Big Ten, really half the Big Ten's trash. Everybody knows it. Vanderbilt would probably finish in the upper half. That's what they don't really want to talk about because they've got their own purple Vandy in Northwestern. But right now, Northwestern's not very good. And they have been good in the past.
They've had some moments,
until they went woke and fired Pat Fitzgerald. So,
go woke, don't go.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I just think that the SEC is still the deepest league.
Right.
That's why you see so many guys drafted, and you'll see even more. It'll be a runaway train by the time the draft is over, in my opinion, as far as overall picks and who has the most, which conference runs away with the most selections. I think it'll be the Southeastern Conference. And
they already have the lead going into round 2.
Yeah, I mean, that set a record last night with the 15 picks. I mean, it was nearly half of the first round, was SEC. So again, I just think overall, iron sharpens iron, and that's why. And then you look at how the Eagles have been built with Howie Roseman. He's built that team drafting SEC guys, Georgia, Alabama, a lot of them, winners. And that's the way you build a great organization, a great football team, and give him a ton of credit for what he's done. And, I'm not an Eagles fan, but you got to admire the way with their consistency and performance and the way they win. And again, they were the best team in the NFL this year. And I think they only got better. As Jahad said last night, the rich just got richer because they took, they traded back into the bottom. Well, they just flipped with Kansas City because I think they thought somebody else was going to maybe kind of try to trade up and draft Jahad. So good move by the Eagles to get a dynamic player, a guy that's going to be able to fit right in. And certainly it's just another tie to that organization that a lot of people are going to be excited about. We've got just a ton of North Alabama ties there with Reed Blankenship, Nick Morrow, and those guys. So it's and Kari Blasingame. So great organization the Eagles have built, no question. And they are the Super Bowl champs for a reason because of the way they've drafted and developed. And then free agency, they've done a good job too. But the draft is the way you really stay young and you stay good. And, and the Eagles have been drafting, in the lower part of the first round for a while now.
Right.
And they've just done a really good job of continuing to stay good because they've lost guys to retirement like the Fletcher Coxes. And I think Brandon Graham's finally going to retire. But they had long tours of duty with the Eagles. And the Eagles even had some injuries last year where they didn't have all their guys available for that Super Bowl run. But they did a really nice job of having depth and signing key free agents that came through for them. And now you add someone like Jihad Campbell, I think it's only going to make them better.
256-576-4977. That's how you can join us. How about this, though? So last night, the Titans take Cameron Ward.
Yep.
30 years ago, they took Steve McNair.
And that worked out.
How about that, though? 30 years ago. I mean, it's kind of surreal that it's been 30 years.
While.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal that it had been 30 years, but they did 30 years ago. They had taken Steve McNair.
Well, and here's the interesting part. Now, Shedeur finished at Colorado, but Shedeur Sanders, half his career was in the SWAC.
That's right.
And, the entire career for Steve McNair he was Air McNair at Alcorn State, and everybody, he made national headlines, put up all these numbers, and ended up being a great, great player. He was borderline Hall of Fame. If they had won that Super Bowl over the Rams, perhaps he is a Hall of Fame player. But Steve McNair was a hell of a player. And we'll see, how it translates for Shedeur Sanders. But I think he's a starter caliber quarterback. I think he's a guy that got better every year. Didn't have the greatest supporting cast around him at times, but continued to persevere. And I just think overall that if you're Cleveland, with the 2 picks toward the top of the second round or the Las Vegas Raiders, I think they're the ones that one of those 2 landing spots to me is where Shedeur is going to end up.
All right, so obviously the NFL draft has everybody's attention, and round 1 is in the books. Round 2, it'll get underway. What a party, though, it was in Green Bay last night. I mean, just a fantastic scene, fantastic night. They had the players come through with the red carpet through Lambeau Field. And so that was kind of fun to see, kind of unique, kind of different that you got to walk through Lambeau Field.
And I love our listeners, too, because they just pointed this out because John talked about Kenny Pickett. But let's not forget in the last week or so, the old man, he's continuing to beat Father Time. But Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco has been signed by the Browns. So he's going to be back with Cleveland. A couple years ago, he took him on a little bit of a Cinderella run there.
Right.
He was comeback player of the year. So we'll see. I mean, I think he's a guy that's going to mentor whoever they draft, and maybe they keep 3 quarterbacks. We'll see, because Kenny Pickett, I still think has some upside, but man, I don't know. I would think you would take Shedeur Sanders. Most organizations just want to keep 2. But Joe Flacco does have value as a guy that's won a Super Bowl.
Right.
That's really stayed. He's not Kurt Warner, okay? But Kurt Warner was good into his late 30s to around 40 years old. And you look at Flacco, it's pretty stout that he's been able to play this long at the level that he's played. So he would be a really good, almost like having an extra coach on the field. So, I'll give a shout out to Freddie Kirby. I remember seeing that now, and it slipped my mind. But yes, that's another good point, that you have a veteran, a Super Bowl champion that, and now Kenny Pickett is too, but Pickett doesn't have the extensive starting history that Joe Flacco did.
Right.
So that he would be someone that I think could mentor a young quarterback and do a good job.
Let's get a final break in here in hour number 1. When we come back, kind of recap everything and set the table for hour 2, plus throw out some high school soccer scores and get you ready for some baseball playoffs tonight. There's a lot of stuff going on. Mother Nature hopefully will let it all get in. We'll explain.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on the Parkway about Clinton. It is coming in as an injury type. Looks like it's on the southbound side. Must be right at the Clinton off-ramp. We got Panoply downtown, Big Spring Park. They've got streets closed around the park, and Gate 10 is closed because of damage from an earlier accident south of Drake. The traffic signal at Drake and Patton is out, and they've got Patton Road closed completely while they make utility repairs. Expert Heart Care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
There is power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner, unmatched in the North Alabama area. It is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslandings.com. That's gunnerslandings.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
All right, 7:51 Friday morning. It's been an entertaining Friday morning so far.
Yeah, and you talked about the weather coming in.
It doesn't look good. I mean, if you look at the hour by hour forecast for today, and I hate to be, what do they call it, a Debbie Downer?
Right, not Baghdad Bob now, but a Debbie Downer.
Baghdad Bob. So Tokyo now is Baghdad Bob.
Well, no, we're just saying, no, that's Baghdad Bob. It's not Tokyo Drift. I'm talking about this damn machine over here. So, but no, but what we're saying is the weather is
3
looking
o'clock
shaky.
3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock.
It's rain.
is looking like it's going to be rain. 6 and 7 on then. It looks like it could be okay. I am not a meteorologist. I'm just saying that it does look like there is a stretch today that we could see some wet stuff that could impact some high school baseball and stuff in the area. Now, there was some soccer that did get underway last night. In Class 5A girls, congratulations. Arab, Gunnersville, Priceville, they all advance in soccer. In Class 6A, Athens advances on the girls' side as they knock off Buckhorn. On the boys' side, your winners, Douglas, Gunnersville, they get wins last night. In 6A boys, Buckhorn gets a win, and Randolph boys get a win on the boys' side. So congratulations to the winners in the 5A, 6A. Now,
yeah, and then Jimmy Lay he's told us, okay, Westminster, they're going for their third straight, this time in 5A. They host Russellville today. And then, but there's already been some postponements softball-wise, as he has told us that rescheduled for Monday, Westminster plays Randolph at West Limestone Monday at 2:00. So that has already, this is softball now that's already been postponed because of the weather. Now that they're more apt to play soccer in the rain, but
you can play in the rain because I mean a lot of them are on the turf and then they're on the grass, and you can do the soccer stuff.
Not softball wise.
No, softball and baseball not.
Unless you got a turf field, and Grissom does not, because I made that mistake yesterday, and that will, as Coach Jeremy Brown told us, that will happen this summer, and they will have turf, but. You know,
there was supposed to be baseball yesterday. Decatur Heritage was at Red Bay. That got moved. It was in a weather delay.
Gotcha.
Didn't get any information. Now, I can tell you Lauderdale County did drop their series to Winfield yesterday. So Winfield in Class 3A moves on. So that was really the only two. Oh, Lindsay Lane, they fall to Summerton Christian yesterday in 2 games on the baseball diamond.
So, and then the Grissom Hoover series. And then, of course, now Bob Jones is supposed to host Thompson. They have a turf field, so they might be able to get some of that in. But with Grissom having grass, and that's supposed to be slated to start at 4:30, as Scott said, that may be during some of the rain period. That may get delayed, so kind of prepare yourself for that.
And those poor people having to tarp on, tarp off.
Oh, that
tarp
Coach
on,
Mosley was talking about that. Yeah, it sounded like
they could use your 2-liter for some energy,
maybe, or it sounded like a spoof of Karate Kid. You know, tarp on, tarp off, wax on, wax off. You know, you never know. I mean,
we have let it loose this morning. Literally, just let it all fly.
Your best karate inside you. Well, maybe it's your best tarp too. We could have used the tarp yesterday in some ways. I mean,
that's one thing I've never done is pulled tarp.
I haven't either. Haven't done it.
Not gonna try either.
No.
It looks hard.
Mm-hmm.
Looks tough.
That's why you got a lot of baseball players in your program over there at Grissom, man. Some of these freshmen and JV guys.
Make the freshmen do it.
They're going to be running it off and on, brother. You're talking about the underclassmen.
Weight that's conditioning and weight training all in one, pulling the tarp.
Yep, absolutely.
You're going to get Joe Hunk for the second hour because I'm going to go back to John Hunt Park. I'm going to go spend time with the A-Sun Beach Volleyball.
And now we have Michael Harper from New Hope. And, of course, we know our great compatriot, Joe Hunk, is a New Hope graduate. But Michael Harper, head football coach, telling us that their baseball doubleheader, they had to move to turf. They're going to Arab to play today instead of playing at New Hope.
So they can get it in.
They are going to try to get it in over there because Arab has turf everything, including football. So the city of Arab has done a great job with those facilities over there. And so all these New Hope folks, all these folks in our area that maybe want to see that second round series, Coach Andrew Dennis doing a great job. AD, he's got a really good squad. They're going to their doubleheader will be over at Arab today as they try to get to the quarterfinals of 4A.
All right. So Mother Nature, I mean, she's going to juggle things around. By the way, just so you know, we need to mark it on the calendar.
Okay.
When the state soccer tournament comes in a couple weeks, that Tuesday at noon, we can go for lunch. So mark it down. We got a soccer luncheon to go to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. I don't know why I'm telling it over the air, but I just am. So
because you love food.
I do. And just so you know that. We're just about done with hour number one. There it is. Alabama had a good night last night. 2 more first rounders gone. Extends a bunch of records, not only for Alabama, but for college football as well. How about this, though? We mentioned the 32, we mentioned the 26 SEC players gone in the first round. How about 10 of those 26 played on the last 3 national championship teams? So just another impressive night for the Southeastern Conference.
And don't forget, New Hope will be hosting Etowah over at Arab.
Arabian Nights.
On the turf field.
Yeah, just to get it in. All right, I'm going to get that break in. You can swing the 2-liter.
Swing!
Red flag!
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
The Atlanta Braves today send out Chris Sale, a $1.20 road favorite against Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks, plus 100, 8.5 under the total. Braves coming off a 4-1 win over the St. Louis Cardinals on getaway day in Atlanta. The NASCAR Xfinity Series racing tomorrow at Talladega. The Ag Pro 300. Austin Hill plus 280. Jesse Love plus 550. Eric Almirola 11-1. While Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, and Connor Zillich are all 12-1. On Sunday, the Jack Links 500 Cup race at Talladega. Ryan Blaney, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano all at 11-1 to win it. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
We are back for the final hour of the week. We back. Hey, we're good. We're good. You're setting up.
I am,
because we had a shift change. We had a tag in because, as we know, Scott Theisen is still doing ASUN volleyball.
Where's that at? Like, where's he doing it at?
I don't even know. I'll be the first to tell you.
John Hunt Park.
Okay, John
They have
Hunt.
beach volleyball at John Hunt, like beach volleyball courts.
Well, hey, and shout out to Mark Russell and the Huntsville Sports Commission for, being able to take care of that, get it all set up. Scott's going over there to call that. You're going to sub in for the last hour.
Yes.
We've got 2 guests scheduled. You're going to enjoy the second one, especially because you work very closely with the UAH Athletic Department. We're going to have Knute Wood, the first portal signee for the UAH Chargers. He'll be trying to fill some big shoes of Tommy Murr, but look forward to talking to him. Hell of an athlete. He's going to join us at 8:30. But first,
yes,
we're going to talk some NFL draft, Bama style, and some transfer portal, because Scott and I really didn't talk about this in hour one, but our next guest is going to break it all down for us, because Alabama has now added not one, but 2 tight ends in the transfer portal. The first couple of additions, still no one in the portal for the University of Alabama, which has been mildly surprising. But we're going to talk to him. He of course, works very closely with Disruptive Media and Next Round Live. He's also part of Cover Crimson, covercrimson.com, and that is Clint Lamb, Athens' own Clint Lamb, and he's been kind enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk some Alabama football, his favorite subject. Clint, good morning. You're with Drew DeArmond and Joe Hunk. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, fellas. How you guys doing this morning?
We're doing well. And before we talk NFL draft, we just teased it. Let's talk about these 2 tight end additions. I know you're very high on them. We're hoping to have Brody Dalton on Talkin' Ball next week. Been reaching out to his camp because I think this is a big time addition. But I know you like both guys. And for our listeners, kind of break down both of these additions for Alabama, because this was a position in spring practice. Depth was severely affected by injury. And by the end of spring practice, Peter Knudsen, graduate student from Weber State, basically a walk-on, though, no disrespect to that young man, but it was getting a little thin at the tight end spot by the end of spring practice.
Yeah, I mean, you even had Will Sanders, an offensive lineman, taking pretty important snaps at tight end. So that kind of told you everything you need to know about where that position was at. But yeah, Jackson Marco from West Virginia and Brody Dalton. I think they were both underrated gets, and the reason I think that, they're outstanding, top of the SEC, types of tight ends where they're going to be all SEC selections or anything like that? No, not necessarily, especially in 2025. But what I do think it does is, in the transfer portal, you have this dilemma when you're in a place like Alabama, because you have your starters kind of solidified, or at least who you think your starters are going to be. So it's difficult to go out there and get guys that are going to be willing to come and kind of fill out your depth chart a little bit, but also be quality enough players where if you need to turn to them due to injury or whatever, that you can actually get serviceable or, good play out of them, effective play out of them. And that's something that I think both Brody Dalton, especially in the immediate, and Jackson Marco, whether it be, in 2025 or beyond, because he was only a true freshman this past season, so still 3 years of eligibility. I think both of those guys provide that. They're both bigger body guys, Dalton being 6'5", 250, Samarco being 6'5", I think 260 now.
Yes, he's much bigger than his listed weight, I think, from what I hear.
Way bigger. And when you look at his frame, he feels like a guy who could eventually move to offensive tackle. I'm not saying they're going to do that with him or that's in their plans, but I do think that he's got that type of frame. I mean, when you look at him, he's a massive body, good as far as the inline blocking, still coming along as far as being kind of a receiving threat, good hands and all that, and can kind of lull you to sleep a little bit. But the nuances as far as uncovering underneath or, being able to create separation through your route running, that's something that I think both of these guys could continue to work on. But it's just, when you look at the depth chart and you look at what Alabama really needed, I don't think they could have done any better than these 2 guys as far as helping at that position, not from a starting standpoint or having any sort of heavy role, but just filling out the depth chart and can be serviceable players if you had to turn to them at some point in 2025.
Well, and I know that you were talking about what they bring to the field and everything that they can do, but what, at least in the short term, are you thinking could possibly be their biggest impact on the offense going into 2025?
Well, I think, especially Brody Dalton, I think he's really good Danny Lewis insurance. Because Lewis is a guy, what was unfortunate is he enters the transfer portal during that first window, and the coaching staff is out there, they're searching for a potential starting inline option. They really want to get Danny Lewis back out of the portal, though. They end up making that happen, and that's big. But then he kind of is unable to go through spring where you could have really evaluated him, how he's trending as far as being your potential starter at that Y spot. And if you exited the spring and he had not got the job done or he wasn't trending in that direction, it could have been kind of like a couple of years ago where exiting the spring, Nick Saban didn't think Alabama was going to need another quarterback. And then they were like, well, we probably are going to need to add some more depth here. So that was the unfortunate part, is you really don't know exactly where Danny Lewis stands. Now, granted, the coaching staff had an entire year with him this past season. They've seen him in practice, so they have a much better idea, but they've never really seen him kind of consistently, being a first-team guy, going against the first-team defense and all that. So they think they know what they're going to get with him, but at the same time, you don't know, and you definitely needed somebody who could be that blocking inline option in case that doesn't end up panning out. And I think Brody Dalton certainly fills that. He's got, I want to say, just over 900 snaps in his career, 10 starts in 2024, 12 for his career. Not the biggest receiving threat. I think there's more upside there than people realize, but I think it's more going to be CJ Dupree, whether it be CJ Dupree or some of these other tight ends where they're not like super heavily utilized, but can at least make an impact if you can kind of scheme some things open for them. But then Samarco is another one where it's like he gives you another option on that end line. And what I really like about it is between Danny Lewis, Jay Lindsey, Brody Dalton, and Jack Samarco, you've got 4 potential blocking inline options where you can keep that physicality, outside after losing CJ Dupree and Robbie Utes. But you've also got a really good receiving option in Josh Cuevas, a guy like Caleb Edwards who can play the Y or the H. I think with the way that you've got the inline kind of lined up with 4 different options, now I go from projecting him to be more of a Y inline option to being more of an H move tight end. And then you've also got Marshall Pritchett. So, I think that room's in much better shape. Adding one of them would probably have been enough, but adding 2, I think, really gives you some options. And I think at bare minimum, one of them's going to end up probably being serving in at least some sort of tight end 3 role.
And I have to say, and I know it's probably been a topic on Cover Crimson that you've talked about quite a bit, but I think it's a really big time positive that we haven't seen anyone go into the portal from Alabama since spring practice. And because to me, it shows that the players believe in the coaching staff. We've seen so many guys still going into the portal, from other schools around the country. Going into year 2 for Kalen DeBoer, I think, especially considering they did lose some guys in the it's a lot of schools did in December, but not losing anyone after spring practice to me speaks volumes to where they think they are right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. And here's the thing. I do think that it's a belief in the coaching staff, but I also want to point out, I think it's an extreme belief in Kalen DeBoer specifically, because not only is it your players, it's your coaching staff as well. The only guy that they don't have on their staff from last year, he was kind of pushed out the door in Colin Hitchler. And not only that, but you had an offensive coordinator. How often do you see this, guys? An offensive coordinator essentially get demoted and he decides to stick around and stay on your staff. I don't know that I've ever seen that before.
Yes.
And that is a loyalty. Now, granted, I think that it's like from Nick Sheridan's perspective, what were the opportunities going to be if he left? I understand that probably plays a part. If he would have had another SEC team calling and offering him a job, to be a play caller, he probably would have taken it, or any sort of, big time program. But I think that a lot of times guys' pride is hurt when they suffer through a demotion or whatever. I think Nick Sheridan's handled it in stride, and I think part of that is just the way that Kalen DeBoer operates and the respect that he has not only amongst his players but amongst his coaching staff. That's one of the things that we've always heard about him, is that wherever he's been, the loyalty to him has been incredible. Ryan Grubb followed him around everywhere. A lot of this coaching staff has. And, I think there's a reason for that. And I think that's going to make a significant difference in Alabama's locker room as, Kalen DeBoer and company kind of, continue to make this their program.
Well, and as we're sitting here and we're talking about the program in this, we're going now into this part of the season where, looking at the watch right now, today's like that final day of people getting into the transfer portal. So now you can kind of focus on what you're going to have in the fall for this Alabama team. We've had a ton of changes that you're seeing in it, but going now into this, what do you think you're going to be looking for the most when it comes to once they start fall practice and start getting ready for the season?
Well, I think you could see more of these types of moves in the transfer portal from Alabama. I think tight end was a pretty easy sell with guys because, it's like you're talking to your tight end group and you're saying, you guys have witnessed it firsthand, what this room, how quickly things can get away from you, how barren it can really get. They only have one scholarship tight end by the end of spring who was healthy. And so I think going ahead and making some moves for tight ends, that was something that wasn't really going to rock the boat with anybody, which I think Kalen DeBoer and company are very conscientious about. You know, they understand the locker room dynamics. They don't want to upset anybody. They're trying to add depth. I think once the second portal window closes, you'll continue to see them go out there and not really add anybody that they think is going to come in and be like have a big time role. But I think that they will go out there and add some guys who can really fill out some of these depth positions. We'll just have to wait and see what that looks like. But as far as going into fall and kind of what to expect, I'm expecting the offense to take a major step forward. You know, I just think that the quarterback play, regardless of who it ends up being of the three guys who are in the competition, I think it meshes a lot better with what Kalen DeBoer wants to do, what Ryan Grubb's going to want to do. I think the offensive line, having the continuity factor with multiple starters back, having the fact that you brought in guys with, you know, SEC experience, you know, Cam Dewberry, you've got a guy like Wilkin Formby who's got a couple of starts under his belt. He's been also working in this room and been playing next to Jaden Roberts plenty last season. So there's a lot of familiarity with the offensive line. The wide receiver room has been significantly upgraded. I think a big problem last year, like I don't think we talk enough about how Jalen Hell's injury really prevented Kalen DeBoer from having three receivers who really fit his system. I don't think Kendrick Law did. I don't think Kobe Prentice did. I think they made things work with Emmanuel Henderson, but obviously he's gone. But I think Jalen Hell probably would have been that other kind of vertical stretching guy who really could have complemented what else you had in that room. I think they got, 6, 7, 8 guys that they could probably rely on this upcoming season at that spot. Tight end's still kind of a question mark, but it's not that you don't have options. It's just we don't know what it's going to look like. And I think year two, as far as Kane Wommack's defense and guys just being more familiar with the system, understanding the nuances, like that Wolf position and playing off the ball as a shallow off-ball linebacker and just some of the stuff that it asks you to do as far as your run fits. It's a little bit different. It was always going to take some time for guys to adjust to that. You see a little bit more as far as one gapping being a penetrative style rather than the two gapping that you saw under Nick Saban. So, you know, I think that they're going to be a lot more comfortable, and I think that's going to lead to another step forward on defense. And so I think that this is, when you look across the board, like you look at a place like Georgia, they got some problems out there on the edge. They are looking to address that in the transfer portal. Alabama's not out here desperate to try to pull in some guys as far as potential starters, because I think the coaching staff feels really good about this roster. It's a good coaching staff. And I think Alabama's kind of positioned to make another run for a national championship in 2025.
Well, we're talking to Clint Lamb, covercrimson.com, part of Disruptive Media, and, of course, very closely working with the next round and Jim Dunaway and those guys. But Clint, now the draft, amazing stat, 9 straight years for Alabama with 2 first-rounders or more. That's just stunning. But Tyler Booker seemed like that was a great fit in Dallas. And same way Jihad Campbell going to the Super Bowl champs. Your thoughts on those 2 picks?
You know, I thought it was funny how that kind of ended up working out, because not only are the Cowboys and Eagles division rivals, so they're going to be playing each other twice a year, but you see the focus of like what Dallas has kind of been in years past, a lot of investment in the offensive line. I mean, Taylor Guyton out of Oklahoma, last year, first-round pick. Tyler Smith out of Tulsa a few years ago, first-round pick. Cooper Beebe, you know, their starting center from Kansas State, third-round pick. Now you got Tyler Booker, another first-round pick. But they've always done this. You know, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith. They have built through their offensive line, and you've seen some really good Dallas Cowboy teams, despite the fact they haven't really done too much in the playoffs, have been really good Dallas Cowboys teams through a very well-built offensive line. Then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, who, I mean, granted, they also have a good offensive line. They also have a good offense, but their focus, especially in the first round in recent years, has kind of been defensive front seven. You know, with Nolan Smith and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and, you know, Nakobe Dean being in the third round. And now you've got yet another, you know, SEC high-profile player, you know, and Jihad Campbell, who they've now brought in to help be a part of that, brings the versatility to help out with your pass rush situationally, can play off the ball. So I just think it's fascinating how that ended up working out, that Jihad Campbell and Tyler Booker are going to be playing each other a couple of times a year. And you see kind of the mix as far as the focus of the Cowboys versus the focus of the Eagles in the draft kind of come to fruition and kind of play out with both Alabama players. I thought that was pretty cool. But I think they're both going to make an impact, and I think they're going to make an immediate impact because I think, you know, Zach Bond was just re-signed by the Eagles. I think he had a hell of a year last year. But Nakobe Dean's coming off an injury. So I think that there is a chance that Jihad Campbell could end up starting sooner rather than later. and at bare minimum, he'll be a versatile rotational depth piece for him. So that'll be interesting to see. I thought it was a good landing spot for both.
Well, and with Zach Martin retiring in this, you kind of look at this Cowboys team and you're saying, look, this was actually the smart thing, which is not something Jerry Jones likes to do. So I'm looking at it and I'm looking at this offensive line like you're talking about. How much depth are we talking about now with him coming into this Cowboys team that we have a lot of Cowboys fans that listen to 97.7. I have a lot of them in my family. And I'm kind of curious about is signing him a guard in the 12th or with the 12th overall pick. Is there a thought that maybe the Cowboys may think about moving him around on the offensive line at all? Or did they get him specifically just to be a guard?
I definitely think he's going to be a guard. Because I think a lot of your spots, I mean, you've invested a lot there. And I think he is going to be Zach Martin's replacement on the right side because Tyler Smith's done such a good job on the left.
Right.
But I think the thing about it is like Dak Prescott, you paid him a lot of money. And I mean, obviously we've seen kind of the up and down play, the injuries coming to play. But I mean, you're probably not getting rid of him anytime soon. You need to have him protected. You need to get back to where it's almost like at one point, I understand you had Ezekiel Elliott and some other guys, some really good running backs, but at one point the offensive line was so good, it's like you could have stuck me back there and I could go for 1,000 yards. And I think that when you start your offense off that way, where you kind of, that becomes automatic, the passing game plays off of that. They have some receiving weapons. Obviously, you got one of the best receivers in the league in CeeDee Lamb. Great last name, by the way. But I just think that if you can get back to playing a high caliber style of offense that can score a lot of points, I think at bare minimum that helps you as far as the wins and losses. Granted, they're going to need some more pieces on defense, but I mean, I do like the fact that they have built the offense in a way where you shouldn't have the inconsistencies on that side of the football that you have seen in the last couple of years, the more you invest in this offensive line. So while I thought it was a little bit early for Tyler Booker, I kind of more so had him pegged being kind of somewhere in the 20s. I think that when you look at his leadership skills, the mauling style in which he plays, he's a tone setter for you offensively. I think he's going to fit in really well in Dallas. And I think ultimately, despite the fact that maybe it was a little bit of a reach, I mean, at one point in time, we were saying that about Travis Frederick too. And he ended up being a home run hit and really set the tone for the Dallas Cowboys offensive line and offense for a very long time. I think Tyler Booker can be that next guy for him.
And then Clint, finally, do we see Jalen Milroe go today? And do you like him in the second round? I mean, because there's some quarterback needy teams, Cleveland, the Saints. We've talked about the Raiders in the top 10 of the second round.
Yeah, from a risk standpoint, I think the tools for Jalen Milroe, he's probably the most toolsy quarterback in the draft. I think the upside with him is absolutely tremendous, but I also think there's so much inconsistency with him where when you've seen other guys like this, the Will Levises of the world, Malik Willis, it was a lot of people were saying because he got invited to the draft that was signaling that he was going to go in the first round. I never really bought into that. No. I accepted that was a possibility, but it just never felt like that was really the case. What it did do was it did kind of convince me more than likely this guy's going to be going in round 2. I kind of more so have him pegged in that Malik Willis range sometime in round 3 from just because of the risk. And I think if you get him with the right franchise, you build around him slowly, you don't force him onto the field, give him at least 1 year, if not 2, sitting on the bench, learning, developing, getting better as far as the consistency with the mechanics. I thought that he could end up, being a really good player and still think that he can. Cleveland's one to look at, I guess, with that Tommy Rees connection. There were some struggles there as far as that marriage and Tommy Rees being comfortable with him. Does Tommy Rees want to do that again? I don't know. I couldn't tell you one way or another. I do think the Raiders are going to go Shedeur Sanders pretty early if they can today. The Rams would be a phenomenal landing spot. I think they pick at like number 46. Sitting behind Matthew Stafford, being in a Sean McVay offense, having the ability to develop there for a couple of years. I think that would be, if you're an Alabama fan and you want Jalen Milroe to be successful, the LA Rams is the best chance for him to do that. So I hope that ends up happening. It could be the New Orleans Saints, but I think they probably need a starter sooner rather than later. And I don't think that's Jalen Milroe. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see how that ends up turning out. But I'm pulling for him, just because I'm giving my honest evaluation of what I see. and I see the upside. It's very clear what the upside is, but we've seen guys like Anthony Richardson have tremendous upside, and a year later they're trying to figure out where they're going to go in a different direction at that position, or at bare minimum give him some time to sit, learn, and develop. So I think I'm sure Jalen is disappointed, but I think ultimately it's going to benefit him that he kind of fell, because there won't be this pressure to get him into the starting lineup before he's ready. So, it could be a number of different teams today, but I do think he goes at some point. Could be sooner, could be later. I don't really know.
Well, and you're right. The LA Rams do pick at 46. The Browns now have picks at 33 and 36 as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, great stuff, Clint. Let everybody know how to follow you, man, on social media and what you guys have going on at Cover Crimson.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Clint R. Lamb. Also, the Cover Crimson YouTube channel. We're doing stuff daily over there. Kind of got at least a 30-minute show. Sometimes it runs closer to an hour, but just talking mostly Alabama football. And then covercrimson.com is the message board community that we're building. Really like what's going on over there. You can ask me questions and get my thoughts on things, but also just the subscribers that we already have, the contributions that they make. It's a fun community, so I would highly suggest anybody who has not already go over there and sign up.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
That's Clint Lamb, man.
Great stuff. Some great stuff. We need to go on a break. When we come back, short segment, then Knute Wood. This will be a good conversation. The first portal edition in year 2 for Mick Hedgepeth. He's going to be a big one for the UAH Chargers. We're going to talk to one of the best athletes in North Alabama coming up soon, but we're going to go on this break here right now on this Friday edition of Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket.
Tom Abraham back from my friend Ross Roberts at Valley Equipment Rental. It's springtime, so let's get that garden tilled with a tiller from Valley Equipment. And while you're at it, snag a power washer for the house and the driveway. And if you're putting in a sprinkler system, they have the small trencher that you need. And you can even rent a Skag zero-turn mower and much more to get your property in shape. Valley Equipment, not just for the contractor, but the homeowner as well. 2 locations on the North and South Parkway. Valley Equipment Rental. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, a leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Not a breath.
Made it, though.
I did. I made it.
Over a lot faster than me.
Oh.
our own Joe Hunt running across the parking lot to our good friends at Dunkin' Donuts.
She was so apologetic. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, ma'am, I am in the same
But
parking
you don't
lot.
have your Whataburger this morning, though,
I didn't.
right?
I had to rush in because
you're sitting in for Scott.
And Whataburger is past where I dropped my son off for school.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, I got to think of something else. Like, look, I'll order from Dunkin'.
There
I ordered at Dunkin', and I ordered at 7:30.
You did the app, right?
I do the app order.
Yeah.
I was crossing over Winchester. I said, oh, this is plenty of time. I can hop out.
I took this out of my fridge, man.
Don't trust me. I've got some of those just in case because I've got 2 baseball games that may or may not be happening at some point in time tonight.
Well, now does UAH now? Are you doing UAH today, right?
Yeah, 3 games total. West Alabama today for a doubleheader, and then a single game tomorrow.
Well, and how early is the doubleheader today?
Today it's actually supposed to be at noon is when it is. And
you might be able to get at least one game in.
I was double
without
checking.
getting delayed. We'll see.
Because that's the biggest thing is at least trying to get one of the games in. Tomorrow you could do the doubleheader if you wanted to. First pitch tomorrow is scheduled for 11 a.m.
We're crossing fingers and toes, but Grissom and Hoover looks dicey.
Well,
because that's supposed to start at 4:30.
It's part of the reason, like you guys were talking about New Hope and what there's going. It's been pouring down rain there as well.
Harper, thank you.
They had to move to Arab to have this one. That's an artificial surface, so even with all the rain, it's really not going to matter there. It's just going to be kind of weird for them because they were scheduled to have a home game. It was supposed to be a really big thing for New Hope.
Yeah, because what AD's doing over there, man.
Yeah.
And you played there. There's a lot of tradition. Al Rawls back as softball coach. He won state championships in baseball. And it's kind of been nostalgic. And they won that first round series such dramatic fashion, the 10th inning, game 3.
Yep.
And so now, and you're back home, you're getting a chance to host a power like Etowah. And then you have to move it.
Guys,
so it's kind of tough.
I haven't paid attention to everything that happened after 2003 when my teammates that were right after me left. I can't remember the last time that we hosted.
I know it's been a minute, man.
Like I know that we went to Colbert County my senior year, and I can't remember where New Hope went my freshman year of college when all my old teammates were still there. I know that they were on the road. That's all that I know. So I'm looking at this as a massive deal, the fact that we're getting to host a home game, and then unfortunately now we have to move it to Arab. So rain is playing
Turn out New Hope community, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Get you some dots and then hit the road.
God, that sounds so good right now.
There you go.
It really does.
We always give them a shout out when we can, man. Manhole cover size cheeseburgers, good chili dogs, milkshakes, everything over there. They're great folks and been around 50 years.
Oh yeah, it's been around.
So,
I have ever since I have been able to walk. I used to live right behind Dots, and I used to walk there all the time and get ice cream.
Well,
every single time.
We always love ice cream on this show. We love food, but we also love UAH basketball. We are the home for the Chargers, and we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, Knute Wood, big portal edition for Mick Hedgepeth. He is slated to join us and talk about his journey and his now opportunity to fill the big shoes of Tommy Murr and continue the outstanding tradition of UAH Charger men's basketball. We'll talk to him next. Stay with us here on this Friday.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Friday is going to be very similar to every other day this week. A mostly cloudy, overcast sky. Temperatures climbing somewhere into the mid-70s with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Holding on to the opportunity for rain as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning. Temperatures only drop into the low and mid-60s. A mostly cloudy, overcast sky on Saturday afternoon. Much the same. Scattered showers and thunderstorms with temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Dropping into the mid-50s as we head into the overnight. Sunday, very much so. Going to be rinse and repeat. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Looks like they have canceled Himsey on that wreck, 431 South near Old Big Cove. They had that one reported as an injury type. Had one in Morgan County that may still be trying to clear, Vaughn Bridge and Jones Road. And they've cleared that one on the Parkway southbound between Clinton and Governor's. Panoply in the downtown area. Watch out for streets closed around Big Spring Park. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. Ask about their military, law enforcement, and senior discounts. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's gonna fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I screw up sometimes, silly.
Okay, almost everything.
Come on, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN, The Zone.
Look at that. It's not just Division I programs, and it's not just the SEC making a lot of news when it comes to the transfer portal, because UAH men's basketball has added a few guys.
Yes.
4 as of right now. 4 guys to come in off a team that, let's just be honest, that game against Nova Southern was your national championship. We all know that.
Yeah, Nova Southeastern. I mean, when you like what Mick said, Coach Mick Hedgepeth on Monday, when we had him before our Make-A-Wish Foundation golf tournament over at Cherokee Ridge, we talked to him during Talkin Ball, and he was super excited. I mean, but it was just you watched it, you looked at it. You lose your first game to Nova by like 1 point. Had a great look from Tommy Murray at the buzzer, didn't go. And then you lose a hard-fought battle on their home court after winning 32 in a row. You go 32-2, arguably the greatest team in UAH history. And then you look at Nova; they win the national championship game, in dramatic fashion. So you got to believe you were maybe the second best team in the country. But you're going into year 2 under a great new head coach in Mick Hedgepeth, Coach Henschel, great staff over there. But they've been very aggressive in the transfer portal. They're excited about their freshman signing class, but a big part of that portal class and the first edition is now with us, coming full circle once again on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We had this young man, 3+ years ago on the show when he made history at Brooks High School as being the first Division I basketball signing in the history of the school, still the only one. and he went to Tennessee State. He did a really good job for Coach Collins and those guys, and they nearly won the OVC this year. He played a crucial role, playing 22 minutes a game off the bench as a backup point guard, but he's hoping to maybe do what Tommy Murr did, go from a Division I mid-major down to UAH and become a great player and fill those shoes. And we're talking about Knute Wood, and he's been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Knute, it's great to have you back, man. You're with Drew DeArmond and Joe Hunk. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing well. Good morning. How are y'all?
Doing well. And I've got to ask, because you're like this natural athlete. Joe and I were talking about this off the air. I know on Easter you were over at the Killen Country Club playing golf. What did you shoot?
I shot around the mid-80s. I think around like 85. It's been real windy lately golfing, so the ball hasn't been going.
What I tell you?
Don't even start making excuses for shooting a mid-80. He's like, guys, look, I shot a mid-80. It wasn't my bad.
Mid-80s. You know, if they bounce two going my way out in the 70s,
yeah,
I told you.
I'm so sorry. I don't even want to brag. I mean, I shouldn't even be bragging about a mid-80s thing, but I mean, the wind was blowing hard. It just wasn't a good day for me. Dude, come on, man.
Come on, man.
You don't know this. We're about to spend a lot of time together.
Yeah,
you really
get to know Joe really well at the Scores table, dude.
This is
But I knew you were a natural. I could see your swing on Facebook, and I was like, this dude just when he got. How much golf do you play during the summer, man? I just want to ask.
I haven't been able to play much because we've been having practices, at Tennessee State my past few years.
That's what I thought.
picked it up about 2 years ago. So
I only started playing 2 years ago, shooting a mid-80s.
Dude, are you wait, let me back that part. Did you really just say you only started playing just 2 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on.
That's like not playing football in middle school, not playing at all, and then playing your senior year and leading the state in receiving. I'm telling you.
This guy's going to look. Here's what's going to happen, Knute. You're going to be over here. You're going to go to like a soccer game. You're going to go to like a lacrosse game, something like that over the campus. Somebody's going to be playing disc golf behind the fields, and they're going to be like, "Hey, can you throw us our frisbee back?" And you're just going to fire it over there, and you're just going to get like a hole in one.
Well, no,
and I'm just going to like. Screw you,
no, but see now, we talked to Mick on Monday, and we brought up football. And when he was recruiting you, he went back and watched your film. He really liked your athleticism, and I know they were really aggressive in the portal. Kind of take our listeners back through that. You had a good experience. I know you left on good terms at Tennessee State, but talk about your recruiting process and Coach Hedgepeth and deciding to become a UAH Charger.
Yes, Coach Hedgepeth, he was great. He actually was the first coach to reach out to me when entering the portal. So I think that played a big factor and meant a lot to me, just the value he saw in me, what he saw me coming in as my role of, being, a big crucial role. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I was looking for a better fit, more of a role, being able to utilize my skills better. And Coach Hedgepeth really believed that, I can come be a Charger and take it to the next level and win a national championship.
Yeah.
Well, no, and it's cool that you're coming back and everything for it. What was that driving factor? I know you talked about, bigger role on the court, being able to do all this other stuff with it, but you were in Nashville and you're now back here. We obviously know that you're from Brooks High School. Like, what were all the other factors outside of the actual on the court stuff that played into you going, you know what, UAH is going to be the place?
Yeah, I think it first just starts with the culture. You want to be in a great culture. And I felt like, I took one other visit other than the UAH, and, I enjoyed that. But when I got to UAH, I just felt like it was family. On my recruiting visit, the whole team hung out with me. They took time out of their day to spend time with me. Coach, the other assistant coaches, they were great. It felt like I could go to UAH, I could be successful off the court, and I could make brothers and friendships that can last as well.
Yeah, and then system-wise too, I would think it would fit you really well. Mick said that that on the visit went just like you just said, it was a home run. You fit in really well with the guys on the court. I know they've added some other pieces as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. But again, it looks like you're going to be a part of reloading, not rebuilding, because they redshirted Bryce Mason at James Clemens. I know they have a lot of high expectations for him. Griffin Cooper, I know, will be healthy hopefully this year. But talk about maybe the outlook of the squad, because it was a special group of seniors, but it looks like the roster is going to be really good going into next year now as well.
Yeah, of course, course, you know, I like the way you said it. I like how it's a reloading year. I think the coaches have done great hitting the portal, and, you know, the guys coming back. Overall, I think Coach Edgeworth is a great coach. He's real smart. He seems real intentional with everything he does. So I'm really just excited to be under his wing and, you know, for him to lead me in the right way.
All right, so I saw something online, and I just want to know if it's true. Did your teammates at TSU really call you like Coach Wood?
Coach Wood?
Yeah.
No, I was a captain of the team.
There you go.
You know, I felt like I was a big voice, you know, on and off the court, and, you know, I always try to be, you know, every day come in and just be a good teammate and a good person.
Okay, that's the only reason I ask is because I read something about a nickname because of your leadership, the way that you work with the team, but also how much film that you watch and all that sort of stuff is like, it was almost like you were absolutely like another coach, like Coach Wood. So that's why I was curious about it.
Mick was talking about his basketball IQ the other day as well.
And so I'm curious about the film study, man, because look, there's a lot of times, even I'll sit here and watch film all the time on teams that I'm covering, but for you and sitting there and doing this all the time, like, how much are we talking about when they say you watch a lot of film?
Yeah, of course. You know, film is very important, you know. So I would always try to sit down, you know, obviously the night before the game. And, you know, because you play in our conference, you know, you play the team twice. So every night before the game, usually, I would sit down and I would rewatch my past games just to see, you know, little wrinkles and little shots I can get open and little plays that, you know, that could help us down the road. And then mainly the people I'm guarding, just seeing their tendencies.
Well, and we're talking to Knute Wood. He's going to be a UAH Charger here in the fall, a transfer from Tennessee State University, prepped at Brooks High School in Killen, Alabama, first Division I signee ever out of that high school. Now will be plying his trade with UAH, and I think is going to be a huge addition in year 2 for Mick Hedgebeth. And then talk about the work you've put in, because I know a big part of the improvement of your game in your 3 years, because you redshirted, you also played 2 years at Tennessee State. But talk about the work you've put in from a 3-point perspective, because you shot the 3 at a very high clip, 40+%. And I know that's something that you're very proud of, that you put in a lot of work. That it kind of reminds me of what Mark Sears did when he went on the college level, because both you guys were good mid-range shooters in high school, but have expanded your range. But talk about all the work you put in the gym to get better as a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I spent a lot of nights on the gun, you know, just repetition. I feel like that's really all it is. It's just repping and shooting. But I knew that if I wanted to be a good college basketball player, you got to be able to shoot. And, you know, I really worked on quickening my shot, you know, making it quicker. No dipping, no errors in the way, just catching and shooting. And I think that really helped me this year, shooting a great percentage from the 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no, I want to ask something about Tennessee State, because I've been to the arena. I've seen how everything goes. Look, a lot of times we get excited whenever there's like a rain outside, whenever we're supposed to be going outside and doing cardio. So I just need to know, how bad did it suck to have to always be able to run inside because you got a track indoors around your basketball court?
I actually never ran on the court up there.
Dude, seriously?
Yeah, we never did.
Joe spent several years in Nashville in the radio business.
Look, I went to like track meets at this place, and it's like I'm sitting and I'm thinking to myself, dude, you don't understand how bad that stuff is. Like, all right, guys, we'll go run outside, and it starts raining. You're like, yes, and then you go, oh wait, no, we got to track inside. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious?
We ran a lot of suicides, but if we ever went up there, they made us do plate pushes around the gym.
Okay, I mean, it's not like that's much better. That's not like that is much better.
Oh, so what is your calendar, Knute? Now that you've signed, you know where you're going, but when do you get on campus? When do you really start the grind and the work with your new teammates? I know you played some pickup with them. You become comfortable with the guys that are coming in and coming back. But tell everybody, what is the next step in the process for you?
Yeah, I don't report to UAH around mid-August.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kind of from now to then, it's just preparation. Keeping my body healthy, getting as strong as I can, And, main thing I'm kind of doing is I want to put on some weight this off season. So that's kind of my main focus.
All right. So, well, I know we got to let you go here in just a second. Have you ever been able to be at a UAH basketball game? I mean, I know you were playing at the same time. So did you ever get to watch one of their games?
I have. I watched their playoff games, but I've never been to a UAH game.
Okay. Here's the reason I'm saying this is because get to know the baseball team. All right. The only reason I say this, the baseball team is going to be right there on the court going absolutely nuts during all of your games. And so I'm just going to let you know it's almost a give and give on this because last weekend, the whole basketball team was parked out in a tailgate behind the left field wall. Like he's sitting in a lawn chair on his truck, all this stuff. So just letting you know that the baseball team is going to be your friend when it comes to the atmosphere during the basketball games.
And we love Hunter Royer too.
And obviously we love Coach Royer. I've got a game with them coming up here in a couple of hours. But just letting you know, that atmosphere, that baseball team is going to take it to a whole nother level, man. So just get ready for it.
I'm excited for it.
I can't wait. What we need him to do, we need Knute. Now that you're going to be a student there, you need to one day just take batting practice with him because I'm sure you'll hit a few.
Probably hit a bomb. Wind was blowing in. It didn't go as far as I wanted.
Oh man,
yeah,
it's going to be some good stuff. But we congratulate you. I know you had a good run at Tennessee State. We were following you. I know you guys were. I mean, a break or two, man. Tennessee State could have been in March Madness. I was watching the OVC tournament. When you at UIC Edwardsville, you guys gave them a run and certainly had a good postseason run. But I think this is a great next move for you. I look forward to you expanding your role, hopefully becoming the starting PG for UAH and being able to really have a good run like Tommy did. I think you're going to be playing for a great coach and a great program, and being back home in North Alabama is really cool. I know you're going to have a lot of support, but man, it's been a great run, been great tracking your career, and we really appreciate the time, man. We look forward to seeing you in the Rocket City soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all.
Have a good one, bro.
That's Knute Wood right there, man. That's a good conversation. 85, and he took up.
It was the wind was blowing.
Oh my God!
Like, dude, are you kidding me?
He's got to play in the golf tournament next year, man.
Yeah,
we got to get him out there.
The other people in the foursome aren't even going to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Knute just nailed that one. Guess we're just going to take his ball. Guess we're just going to take his. Fine. All right. Guys, I hadn't played in 6 months. Okay. I'm so sorry.
I love it.
I'm only 4 feet from the pin. I'm not too.
The natural Knute Wood.
Come on, bro. All right.
He could probably walk on and make the baseball team. I ain't lying, man. He's that kind of athlete, bro.
What? Can he pitch? We need some pitching. That's what's going to happen. We're going to need some in the offseason. So, Knute, be careful.
There you go.
All right. Let's wrap everything up on Talking Ball. When we come back, Joe Hunk, Drew, DeArmond, John Abraham, all of us just having fun on this.
Yeah,
Friday.
we're going to close it out. We're going to talk a little draft because we got a big second round coming.
Massive second round. We'll be back on Talking Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck, Old Madison Pike and Slaughter. Got an overturned vehicle in that one. They are reporting it with injury. At 4:31, an Old Big Cove reported as an injury type. Looks like they canceled Himsey on that one. No update on the stretch of Patton Road south of Drake. They've had it closed, and Gate 10 has also been closed this morning. Don't forget Panoply downtown Big Spring Park. You got roads closed because of that. Expert Heart Care backed by advanced technology. If you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000. That's 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Now, this headline up here, I don't agree with. I don't think there's any way Shedeur slips into the third round. Now, I could see Jalen Milroe slide into the third round, Joe Honk.
Well, I think they're connected.
Not Shedeur.
I mean, because, again, a lot of people thought Shedeur was going to go even late in the first round yesterday.
I wasn't shocked, though, because I still think he's the best quarterback in the draft, and no disrespect to what the Titans did with the first overall pick, but he has his tools. Milroe has all these tools. Shedeur has the neck up stuff and the touch, the accuracy, the anticipation, but not great size, not great arm. But I still think, and I like the Drew Brees comparison. I think he can be a really good starting QB. And I still say top of the second round, you're talking Cleveland with 2 picks. You got the Raiders. You got there's some organizations there that could, invest in Shedeur Sanders.
Well, and so I am curious there's a few things I'm wondering about with him, because throughout the week you started hearing signs about, or little bitty sources that were saying that he didn't interview well, that he kind of came in with a cocky attitude, that he had this mentality that didn't match what we were seeing on tape. And so I was thinking, like, okay, maybe this is a lot of smoke screen stuff, because you start to see that as we lead into the final few days. But now he's actually slid back into the second round, especially when the Giants had 2 opportunities to pick him up and they did it.
The story about the Giants had to be true, I guess. They really love Dart. I don't. I never thought Dart was a clutch guy. When things were hard, he didn't make plays. Now, Brian Dable, I've always liked Dable, but they're taking a huge chance there. We'll see. And I do like the Abdul Sanders pick, or Abdul Carter. I'm sorry. Abdul Carter pick. I got Sanders on the brain, but I still think Shedeur would be a value pick here. And if I'm the Browns, they got, with that trade now, they got 2 of the top 4 picks in the second round. To me, I know they signed Joe Flacco. That one, appreciate our listeners for hollering. And then they got Kenny Pickett, but I think you got to take a chance with Shedeur here.
Yeah, this is I would expect one of those 2 picks to potentially be Shedeur. That's what I expect. I also expect for John and myself to be back here in about 5 minutes. Drew, you're done for the week.
No, I'm going to be back with y'all in 20 minutes.
Oh crap, you're going to be back with us in 20 minutes. Never mind, we'll all be back here in just a minute on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone at WZZN TV.
The Drive.
Both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do, and both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their